You're listening to Table Talk with your host, Anthony Irvin, aka Spoken Life, along with a new special guest every other Thursday starting at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in live on Facebook, Periscope, Twitch, and more. Let's start the show. What's up, everybody? Anthony Irvin here as your host tonight on the 8th episode of Table Talk. Hope everybody is doing well. Hope everybody's had a good week. How's everybody doing? And please let me know. Make sure you guys are staying active in the comment section tonight. We will be answering all your questions with me and my special guest, who I'll be getting to in very short minute here. We have an awesome guest for you guys tonight. And I also wanted to just say again, thank you guys for being here, and let's get to our special guest. I thought I had a little bit more news I wanted to spill out, but without a doubt, let's get to our special guest tonight. We have a very own Delco special tonight. So we have Anthony DeSalvatore Jr. with us tonight. Here we are. Hey, what's going on?
What's up, man? How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Doing great.
Thank you for being here.
Oh, of course. Thank you for having me.
Always, man. How was your day?
It was really, really busy. I did a lot of just regular stuff around that everybody's got to do: laundry, dishes, cleaning out my car.
Right.
Got my computer working.
Finally got it working.
Yeah.
So, for those who do not know you, Anthony, why don't you give a little bit of background about yourself? I know you have, you do a lot of solo work. You're in a band. So let's let everybody know who Anthony DeSalvatore Jr. is.
So I am a professional drummer, professional musician, I should say. I play drums more than anything else. I like to sing and I like to play guitar. That's it. I need to start playing other instruments. That's what I do for my job, and that's what I love to do.
Yeah, we were talking earlier this week, and we were mentioning, what started first, either the drums or guitar, and I believe you said that you were a drummer first, and then kind of guitar kind of fell in your hands eventually. So tell me a little bit about that.
So I started playing drums when I was about 3 years old. My dad plays drums. He's an incredible drummer. And thankfully, he passed it on to me. I've been playing since I was 3 years old. Right around 7th grade. We moved into an apartment. I couldn't really play drums anymore as often. So I forget where I got my first guitar. But I forget where I got my first guitar. But I started playing guitar, messing around with it with one string.
The
high E string. I was getting pretty good with the high E string, and I started to move on to other strings. And then I moved on to YouTube, and after that, I started learning tabs, and I was just having the time of my life playing guitar to the point where I got pretty decent. Started to sing along with, I think the first song I learned how to sing and play was Named by the Goo Goo Dolls. And I figured that I could get a little better. So I kept trying to get better and better. Now I get paid to do it. Thank God. I'm grateful every day.
That's awesome, man. That's what everybody is going for, Yep. And you were mentioning about starting with YouTube and tablature. That's kind of how I started as well. My dad's a guitar player, so he put a guitar in my hand at a very young age. I was actually a drummer as well. I started off playing drums when I was in like 4th or 5th grade, and went all the way through middle school, and then got to like the first week of band camp in high school, and I'm like, yeah, F this. I'm not, I couldn't do it because they were all focused on everybody else, and I'm just sitting in the back, couldn't even hit a drum. I'm just waiting for everybody else to everybody else is playing, but I'm not playing. I'm like, all right, I'm not spending my summer sitting in a hot gym doing nothing. So I think that's when, I really started getting more into guitar. And then, you know, my dad got me a little cheap guitar. And then I think I got when I got like a very, very cheap, like Rogue guitar when I was like
Rogue
8 or 10. I just pulled that out a couple weeks ago because one of my guests a couple weeks ago, Justin Yates, we were talking about it, and he got me to actually, he's like, you should try to find that. And I actually pulled it out like that night, and I'm like, wow, this is some old stuff here.
That's trying to think of I can't remember the first brand that I had, but it was a flamenco guitar. Was one of the first, and it made me. Before that, I was like playing on friends' electric guitars. I would like sometimes I call them up. I'd be like, "Yo, we should definitely hang out." And then as soon as I got there, I was like, I just would keep looking it over at the guitar,
Right.
like just waiting for the right moment. And I would just sit there and play. Like, you just get lost just playing on one string when you first start out.
Right. You just play what you know when you first start out. Mm-hmm. We have a couple people in the chat right now. I think my mom is watching. Hey, Mom, how you doing? Thank you for tuning in. Tracy, thank you for sharing on your pages. Really appreciate that. And make sure you guys are sharing this out tonight.
Yep.
And share the broadcast. And when you're sharing it out, make sure you're using the hashtag Table Talk. I am your host, Anthony Irvin, aka Spoken Life, and tonight we have Anthony DeSalvatore Jr. with us. He is actually like probably right around the corner from me. We're both Delco S natives.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Hashtag Delco music scene. Shout out.
Huge shout out to Delco music scene. That's the whole reason why we're here.
Absolutely, man. So you've been in the area for your whole life. You didn't like move anywhere. You haven't lived anywhere else. You've been in Delco your whole life.
Actually, no. I've moved around. I started. The first place I remember living, was in Collingdale.
Oh, okay.
So Delco most of my life. It was Collingdale, and then it went back and forth between Ridley and Clifton Heights.
Mm-hmm.
And I lived in Lansdowne. I lived in Marcus Hook. Is that Chester County? Or is that?
I mean, Marcus Hook is like the next town over from Chester, I think. So I think it's still considered Delaware County. Yeah,
I lived in Marcus Hook. I know for a fact. I lived in Pottstown for a very small amount of time. That's definitely not Delco. At least
right. Yeah, that's a little bit out of the way.
Yeah, I think Pottstown is the only place that I've lived that was not in Delco. But I mean, I love Delco, to be honest, and not that I want to stay for my whole life. I would love to travel and go to different places. I mean,
right.
I've traveled to a few different states. I've been lucky to play a few different states, but the two that I love is Boston and California. Those are my favorite.
Yeah, I haven't been to Boston since I was a kid, but I don't think I was ever able to experience it like at my age now to the point where I can actually do a little bit more. And I was there for unfortunate reasons. But California, I've been to San Diego. I've traveled through LA through the airport, so I can't really say I've been to LA, but I've been in LA, if that makes sense.
Oh yeah. Because I've never been out of the airport in Texas, but I had to fly to Texas to get to California, but I'm always going to say that I've been to Texas because of that.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I've been in a lot of these places due to my work, my full-time job. I usually traveling with them most of the time. Really? And I went to Arizona in like June. It was the hottest. I regret even going in that time. In that time, it was like 100. It was like 100, 105, but it was like that dead heat that like you don't even want to be in. Like they had mist machines going around the hotel just to control the temperature.
In Arizona.
In Arizona.
I know. Buddy Cash. I know he just recently moved to Arizona. amazing bassist that used to be,
Buddy Cash. I think I remember the name coming around here. Yeah.
he just moved to Arizona, and I know of a couple people who are in Arizona.
Mm.
Wanted to at least go there. You know what I mean? I don't mind hot weather, but
It was very nice. I mean, but I think I would probably pick a different time of the month rather than June.
I totally feel you. And to be honest, hot weather is fine. I don't mind hot weather. But cold weather, that's one of the biggest reasons I don't really want to stay in PA is because I can't do, like, I'm not a huge fan of the back and forth hot cold.
I'm not either. I've never been a cold fan. I'm not. I'm okay with winter as long as it's snowing. If it's cold,
because
it better snow. If it's cold just to be cold, that's when I don't like it.
I'm about that aesthetic. I embrace the winter, and I love watching the snow. I mean, we just went shopping for a bunch of fall stuff. Then we're gonna have to go shopping for a bunch of Christmas stuff.
Yeah, that'll be starting very soon too. If not anybody has already started, I'm pretty sure there is a very small percentage of people that have started already. But
I've been back and forth. We've been back and forth about buying a real tree or a fake tree.
Mm-hmm.
I go with our main tree being fake, but I want a real Christmas tree in my home, whether it's 2 feet tall or 8 feet tall.
Yeah, my parents had a real tree. I think either last year or the year before. That was one of those things like, okay, I want to at least experience it one time.
Exactly.
Because when I grew up, I always had a fake tree. So there, and of course they do it once I move out.
Yep.
But no, I think they got it within the last year or two, and it definitely, like, I guess the things that they say, like, oh well, it's a lot of maintenance. It is, from what they told me, but I think it's definitely worth it. At least doing it once. If you only do it once, it's definitely worth it.
It's one time a year.
Exactly.
Now I have 2 cats, so that's kind of what I'm worried about. Not even the cats like knocking anything over. I'm worried about the cats like eating a bunch of the
the bristles. Yeah,
and me having to, like, them having surgery. I don't know. So
you don't want to live with that guilt.
Yeah, the guilt, and just being like, I could have just got a fake tree and if they knock it over, they knock it over. I'm not even worried about it.
And like you said, even if you have a small one, it's not much of a cleanup if you have a small one.
Exactly. And the small one, I'll probably put it somewhere they can't get to it. And if they get to it, then, it's their fault.
Right. Exactly. All right. And so how about we get to some music? I know some people want to hear some music. So how about we get you to start out with a song for tonight? I know you say you don't have too many originals, if not one. I know when we were talking, like, oh, maybe I can write one. So I'm not sure if you were able to have a chance to write anything, but
unfortunately was not able to write anything. To be completely honest with you.
And it's totally fine, because I would not be able to be like, oh well, I'll just write something here and now. I wish I had that type of talent.
That would be amazing. Yeah, I don't think I could do that.
The only person that I think is that talented of that type of thing is Mike Scandal from Delco After Dark.
Yep,
those guys. He just goes right off the cuff, and he's a funny dude.
My girlfriend works with Mike Scandal. He's hilarious. I love him.
Oh yeah, he's a good guy. Me and him went to school together.
Really? Nice.
I don't think we were in the same grade. I think he was a grade or two below me, but we both went to the same high school.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
What high school?
Sun Valley. Sun Valley.
That's in Aston, right? Or people who live in Aston.
Correct. That's in Aston, PA. Correct. Class of 05. Show a little bit of my age.
I am class of, I feel bad saying it after you just said class of 05. I'm 2013.
Oof.
Yeah. I feel like
yeah. Wait until you get to like 2023, and like then you start getting that 10-year mark, and then the close to like the 20-year mark, and you're like, crap, time is like fading away.
Imagine. I don't even like it sounds like so prophetic, but it's not something that anybody wants to hear. And it's funny. I was literally laying on my couch one day, like looking out at like the sun, and I was like having a good time, just chilling there. And then that thought crept into the back of my head that time is marching on and it will never stop for anybody.
Exactly. I was listening to John Mayer's "Stop This Train," and you listen to those lyrics, and it basically just talks about, you know, how time, you know, it just keeps on moving, and you can't stop that you know, metaphorical train from going. It, no matter what you try, if you try, it's just going to keep on going, man.
Sometimes I use that thought to not worry about things when I'm worrying about them, or not like if I'm feeling anger or any other negative emotion. If I think about that, it kind of makes me just let go of anything that is a waste of my time, which is anything that's negative. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. Shout out to Tom from Michigan. How are you doing, buddy? Thank you for being here. And thank you for everybody who's tuning in right now. Just before we get to some music here, Anthony's going to play a little music here. You're watching Table Talk. I am your host, Anthony Irvin. Tonight we have our special guest, Anthony DeSalvatore Jr.
Cheers.
Cheers to you guys out there. All right, Ant. What are you going to be playing for us?
Should I say the name or should I just start?
I guess maybe people will know it, because I know we're probably going to do maybe some covers. So let's just see if people will get the covers, unless we don't have to say. We'll just let people know, find out what cover it's going to be.
Yeah, I mean, they'll know. It's a song I've never played before, but I've heard a lot.
There you go.
My house in Budapest, my high-end treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beautiful Castile. Ooh, ooh, I leave it all. My acres land I have achieved. It may be hard for you to stop and believe, but for you, ooh, ooh, I leave it all. Oh, for you, ooh, I leave it all. Give me one reason why I should never make a change. Yeah, baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. My many artifacts, their list goes on. And if you say the words, I'll pick up and run over you. Ooh, ooh, I leave it all. For you, ooh, I leave it all. Give me one reason why I should never make a change. Yeah, baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. Give me one reason why I should never make a change. Yeah, baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. My friends and family, they don't understand. They feel that they lose so much if you take my hand. You, I lose it all. Yeah, well, for you, ooh, I lose it all. Give me one reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. Yeah, give me one reason why I should never make a change. Baby, if you hold me, then all of this will go away. My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, my golden grand piano, my beautiful steely. Ooh, ooh, I leave it all. All for you. Ooh, ooh, I leave it all.
Woo!
First time
Very
ever.
nice.
Do we got a couple more tunes, or?
Oh yeah, we got a couple more we can go through the night. Yeah, I like that song. I got to add that to my repertoire too.
I was doing the dishes, listening to an amazing playlist on Spotify. By the way, Spotify is a great tool for any musician.
Absolutely.
But I was listening to the acoustic pop covers playlist.
Okay.
Week, because that's where I get some ideas of what tunes to cover, maybe some arrangements that I like. And I heard that song come on, and I was like, that song is actually a mother effing banger.
It is, yeah. I haven't heard it in a while, and that was a cool way to remind myself of that song. So thank you for that.
Thank you, man. First time I ever played it, and I was like, I really have to play it. Like, some songs you just feel good playing, and that's probably a song that I'll play at every show that I play, especially if I'm feeling off a little bit, or if I'm feeling like I got to get into into a good groove.
Yeah,
might not be in otherwise. While
I have a couple of those songs that kind of get me back into the spirit of.
Maybe the crowd might not be, they're talking and having a good time with their friends, but you're
right
playing, and you kind of have to be the energy of the performance, but you might not be feeling it at the time. That's probably a song I would go to if once that starts to happen, and I'll be like, now I feel better. I feel pretty good.
Yeah, man. I did that with my most recent gig this past Saturday. I've always wanted to play "Give Me One Reason" by Tracy Chapman, but I was like, I mean, I have. I've always had that going in my mind, but I never had the time to actually sit down and necessarily practice it and get the melody down. And then during the day, I'm like, let me listen to it about 3 to 5 times, and maybe I can get it stuck in my head. And I ended up just playing it, and it sounded pretty good first time playing it.
Yeah.
Did a little loop of the little 12-bar blues of it. Jammed it.
You do live looping, don't you?
I do.
I need to start doing live looping. I've been wanting to work on it, but I just feel like I need to be able to get the live looping down while still being present with the crowd and the vibe of the crowd.
Yeah,
I haven't been able to get to that point yet, but
it's so fun, and especially when you kind of get to the point where and what I did this past Saturday, which I'm going to start doing, is because I get a lot of people looking at me and looking at down at my pedal board and like, oh, he's doing this, because I have I'm able to do harmonies, I'm able to do the looping, and then with my goading guitar, I'm able to have a acoustic and electric simultaneously going. So there's so many different things going, and people are like, where the hell is all this stuff coming from? So now I'm trying to get to the point where I'm going to take one song that has a little bit of layers to that and being like, okay, guys, so I know you've been looking about all these different things coming around. So what I do is live looping, and then just start saying hey, so this is where I can build a drum beat, start building a drum beat, then start putting in a little riff. And then I recently just bought a Boss Super Octave OC3 pedal, that I can use for using like little bass lines.
Damn.
So now I can add a little bit of bass in there. So I've pretty much become like what I've been wanting to do is become like a one man band type thing. So now I can actually show people how I'm building all this stuff and then just go right into a song. And I think I did that with a Fleetwood Mac song.
What's the Fleetwood Mac song?
Dreams.
Dreams. Yeah, ever since that guy made the video,
that new track that they just put out.
Yeah. Yeah, Fleetwood Mac, that album, man, it was okay. It wasn't even close to being known as the best album that
right.
had been written.
And I was never really, not that I wasn't a fan of Fleetwood Mac, but I wasn't too into Fleetwood Mac to being like, oh, I'm listening to him like every day and all. But I mean, one of those type of bands that you respect, but you don't really listen to them every day or something. It's like, oh, I haven't listened to them in forever. I got to listen to them.
I loved Fleetwood Mac. I mean, ever since I heard them, but ever since I heard "You Make Lovin' Fun," I don't know why that song attached itself to my soul, but I love that song more than that's probably like my top. It's definitely in my top 3 favorite songs of all, and necessarily even explain why. But the entire that whole album is like more than a masterpiece, in my opinion. And
yeah, I mean they definitely a bunch of talented and creative musicians there. And speaking of bands, I know you do perform. You're a drummer in a cover band called Kono Nation. Yep. Do you want to give a little bit more information about them?
It is Kono Nation.
Kono. I knew I was going to mess it up.
So everybody does. We always say Kono like Bono.
And I was thinking when you were telling me like Bono, Kono, but I'm like Kano. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to mess it up.
Fucking Kano from Mortal Kombat.
Right.
But, it would completely, it would kind of throw off from the cover band vibe if we were called Kano. But I still been rooting for it. I still am trying to get the name changed to Kano.
Now, did you guys form the whole band from the start, or was it a band before you joined, or?
Yeah, it's a little bit of a long-ish story. We were formed for the most part, not the way that the band is now. We're a 4-piece: drums, keys, guitar, and vocals. Lead vocals is Morgan Kano. It's her band, and we all sing. But the way it was formed was it was me, Kano, and the keyboardist Michael Kahana, who
right
the band. Check them out, Lines and Laces. They're in the studio right now cooking up. So we were with a country artist named Joe Bachman. He's very well known, I know, in the tri-state area as well as Florida and pretty much all around the country. Everywhere where anytime we really ever played out of the tri-state area, it was with Joe Bachman. We were known as Joe Bachman and the Party.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
And then he moved back to Florida. He has his own acoustic duo, and we became Kono Nation. We added Chris Jennings on guitar, and he has a company called Stardust Productions, who makes all of our tracks. He's amazing. Got to definitely check them out. But
yeah, definitely.
The band as it is now, Kono Nation, is what Joe Bachman and the Party used to be. We added a guitarist, and we don't have a bassist anymore. We track pretty much every song, but it's a fun time. I mean, I love every minute that I'm on stage with them because every single person in the band makes it fun. You know what I mean? Makes it really.
And that's most important when it comes to a band. I mean, if you guys are all vibing and like doing everything at one time, it makes it even more fun to be up there, and it doesn't even feel like a job to you.
No, especially off stage. I mean, off stage we party hard. We go in and we have a great time every single gig.
That's awesome. That's awesome. And right now, with everything going on, you were saying that obviously the band is not performing at all, or not as much.
The full band, is not performing at all as of now. We have an agent. If he's able to book the full band, he certainly will. But right now, it is the Kano Nation duo with Morgan and our keyboardist Mike playing guitar. They're playing a bunch. They're playing at the Village Pub in Sewell on this Friday. And then this Saturday, they are at, let me try and remember. I don't think it's Secrets. Hard Rock.
Okay. Which one? In Philly?
Hard Rock Cafe in Atlantic City at the lobby.
Very nice.
That's where they are this weekend. And like I said, the guitarist, what he's been doing, he has been crazy busy in the studio cooking up at Stardust Productions. Our band is writing originals like crazy right now because of the fact that we're not playing, but we're still
why not
learning new songs in the studio, writing songs. I've just been trying to book myself left and right, doing some solo acoustic stuff. Because it's just, I love it.
Absolutely, man. Like I said, I used to do the band thing as well, and it was a fun time. I had some of the best memories being in the two bands that I was in, but I'm really loving just doing my own thing right now. It's like, you're pretty much your own boss. You can book your own shows. You don't have to be like, okay, there's this one person that wanted to book us, but I gotta wait to get back to you because I gotta ask 2, 3, 4 other guys to make sure that they can play that same date before I can give you a definite that we're going to be able to play it.
And if all of the people in your band get back to you that same day, then you have a pretty amazing group of guys.
Yeah.
For them to get a response in the same day from all those guys can be nearly impossible.
Yeah. Sometimes there were times that you had to kind of wait about a day to be like, okay, well, I got to check my work schedule, so give me about a couple days.
Yeah, and it's like, I'm sorry, but literally within the next 30 minutes, if this guy doesn't hear back from me, then he's gonna go with the next band that already said yes. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
And that's not even necessarily knocking anybody. It's just how it is,
Yeah, I mean, it's just business, and I really didn't get into the business side of music until I started playing a lot of solo stuff and the cover music stuff. Because I was playing in original bands my whole life up until I started doing the cover band scene, and playing out, going 2-3 hours out of the way, and then hoping to get gas money to come back.
Yeah,
it was definitely a time to be trying to make money in the original scene. I know there's some people that are able to do it, but I was getting older, doing this, doing that. I'm like, all right, well, and I didn't want to stop playing music, but I'm like, all right, well, if I want to continue doing this and spending money and doing this, I gotta try to find some type of income to be able to start paying for a lot of this stuff. So I wasn't the person to kind of start playing a lot of cover gigs at the time because I wanted to play my own music. But once I started playing a couple gigs, I'm like, well, this is actually pretty fun. And then knowing that I can just throw in my originals here and there, it kind of made it even better. So I'm like, all right, well, I don't necessarily have to announce that it's an original. I just throw it in there and just throw up a couple covers and, get the people over, and then you throw them an original. And they're like, oh, did you write that? Like, yeah, I did.
Oh, yeah, I wrote that. Yeah.
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 Because I was saying as a kid, like I never wanted to be known as the guy that walks down the street and somebody comes up to me and says, hey, you played that Metallica cover really good last night. Like, yeah, that's thank you, but I never wrote that. But I'd rather be that guy walking down the street saying like, hey, dude, I saw you in that cafe like the other night, and you were playing some original tunes. You sound awesome.
Yeah. And then
so
taking it even further than that, is like, yo, I heard you in that cafe playing some of your originals. They were awesome. I got a guy that you need to talk to because he can help you further your career.
Exactly. It only takes that one person.
It only takes that one person. And going back to the financial business side of it, like that's pretty much the only way to have longevity in the music industry is to dive into the financial side of it and learn as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Because even if you're an amazing talent, you're either going to, have to at some point, you're going to have to, know your pricing and stick with it. And you're going to have to do at least 5 or 6 jobs on your own. And the only way to keep that going is the budget and to know really how to make it happen financially, how to invest in yourself, and the financial side of it is, I would dare to say that it is probably like 50%.
Mm-hmm.
In a way. 50.
There's definitely a lot of people that, they're very talented, but just don't know necessarily how to market themselves the right way. That being, I've been doing so much better and been trying to more focus, on marketing sides and just being more, and then focusing on my songwriting and kind of being, a little bit of both the songwriter and the financial side. But, it's like one of those things, like you got to continue to do something and then just learn from what you did to correct anything you might have and then learn from your mistakes and keep doing it and just keep doing it.
Exactly. I will correct myself. I would say financials 50%, but knowing what to invest where is 50% of it at least.
Yeah.
The money or time. And most people say that those two are the same things. Time is money.
Definitely.
What to invest in, especially knowing and learning about social media. I run 3 social media pages if you include my own, and I've been learning a bunch, and most of it is from YouTube. But
thank God for YouTube.
Oh my God, thank you Jesus for YouTube. But
we'll get into the social side of it in a minute. I'm gonna get a song in here real quick, and
open original.
So I'm gonna get an original in here. Yeah. So I usually like to start on this one. So this is a more of like a personal one that I wrote back in 2015. This song is called Shell.
Nice.
So break me out from the shell, 'cause I don't think I can do this on my own. I can't control my disquieting thoughts. How does this come from a man with a cheerful heart? I aim to please the world before myself, 'cause I'm scared to death of the outcome, fear of what they'll think of me. Slow down and enjoy life, cause for alarm. It's like being at war, a constant battle of frustration on the inside. But is there a method to this madness? And the thoughts they consume my mind. Ooh, I will find my way. Ooh, the inner me will soon break away. Ooh, break away. I will find my way. I aim to please the world before myself, 'cause I'm scared to death of the outcome, the fear of what they'll think of me. Slow down and enjoy life. There's no cause for alarm. So break me out from the shell, 'cause I don't think I can do this on my own. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Nice.
There you go.
Cheers to that, man.
Cheers. Thank you. Saw that big gulps coming, little big gulps thing you had.
This is where I've had this for like, I want to say 2 years, but it's probably a little less. I've never put anything other than water in, and I want to keep it that way.
It makes me think of the Dumb and Dumber scene. Like, oh, big gulps, huh? Well, see you later.
You said that was an older song, right?
Yes, that was. And I remember, we'll go back to a little bit of memory road. When we were at the open mics, you and me actually, performed with that a little bit.
I remember trying to not that it was crazy difficult, because it is not like, it's one of those songs that, it doesn't have crazy changes that people can't dance to.
Yeah.
I actually love original viewers because of the fact that, we were able to get a groove onto it, and people were actually like,
they were
really digging that. And as soon as you started playing that, I was like, yo, I recognize that song.
I was gonna think, I'm like, yeah, I gotta let him know that this was the song that we actually played together in one of the open mics back in what was it, 2017, 2018, was it? One of those years.
2018, it might have been. Yeah, definitely. I feel like it was probably before 2018, maybe.
It probably was, yeah.
But yeah, I remember that song from that day, and I remember just trying to. At first, I was a little bit like, I really hope I don't like screw up this guy's original, because I think it was the first time I met you, right?
I think it was, and that was one of the first times that because I never did open jams before. I always did open mics where it was just like one person and you kind of just went up there. So I was always intimidated by open jams because I'm like, well, I don't know theory, or what do I play, and when do I come in, when do I come out? And so but I'm like, I went and I'm like, well, I kind of just saw how people interacted, and I loved the vibe of it, because you kind of just went up there and jammed with the house band. Yeah. And then I just kind of just started putting my original. I'm like, all right, well, they're eventually just gonna kind of follow my lead. And I'm like, I mean, my songs aren't really, like you said, they're not too technical when it comes to changes. There's not many changes other than going. A lot of my songs are just like, you have a set type of chords for a verse, then you have a set amount of chords for a chorus. It may change in the bridge. So there's not too many changes, and the vibe doesn't necessarily change, but like you can kind of get a groove to it really quick, and just stick with that for most of the time. There's not many there's not many tempo changes either. So
yeah, exactly. Which is not that there's anything wrong with having that stuff, but
right.
All I noticed was the whole band, who had never played your original before, was grooving to it, along with a bunch of people in the crowd were really grooving with it as well. And it was,
yeah, I thought that was it was actually a really fun night, because I did not know what to expect.
Yeah, I loved it. And actually, thankfully, we're going to be doing something similar to that. It's going to be live band karaoke. We're going to be hosting that. at the Boulevard in Dover, Delaware, and I'm pretty start sometime in November next month.
Okay.
And it's going to be every Wednesday night. But I'll obviously be putting out a lot of information about that once we get it going.
Absolutely. Yeah, it should be fun.
It's going to be really, really fun. There's going to be a lot of R&B played, which is going to be really pop. A lot of R&B.
There,
actually
nice.
We've been getting in Stardust Production Studios, getting to work on learning a bunch of R&B, and we can't wait to actually get it going.
Yeah, man, that sounds like a lot of fun. I mean, like I said, with the open jams, I wish we were able to do a lot more right now, but with everything that's going on, it's it's kind of like slim pickings right now. With what you can do, so we're all kind of in the same boat of like, if we can land something, we take it, and if it's
so excited about starting this.
Yeah, man, and I know you're getting some gigs lined up for yourself as a for just doing some solo stuff. I know you were just in Atlantic City, a week and a half ago, and I saw you have a couple things lined up as well. So you're really starting to get back to it, and I'm trying to do the same thing. And I'm even trying to just go to different places that I haven't been to before that could be doing music, because if anything, there's more things around here that are kind of getting booked up. So it's like, all right, the next best thing is just kind of branching out.
Absolutely.
And, it's in a way like you kind of get to play a new crowd, a new place. And, it's not necessarily a bad thing. You kind of start working in a new network, and you get to network with a brand new set of people. So
exactly, especially for you, because you have originals that really, people need to hear it, not where they have been hearing it, which is
right.
I mean, local places around us in Delco, I really don't know of too many that have been hiring much. I played at La Porta. We both played there. I played there.
Yeah.
Probably, I forget which month. It was probably like mid-summer. There, and it was pretty fun. It was pretty. I mean, all the gigs are fun, but
right.
I haven't been back there since. I know I played at a couple places that have just been doing music on and off. They would start doing music, and then they would have to stop for a couple weeks, and then they again, and then they would stop for like another month. I know a place in New Berlin, New Jersey. There's a place called Baja Beach.
I was just gonna ask you about that, and I know you played there a couple times. I was gonna try to hit them up, but I haven't heard much about them in a while. So I guess they had to shut down as well.
They had to shut down. That was pretty much one of the prime examples of what I was just talking about. They were not shutting down, but not having the same type of live music. I know they had a couple different people who were already working there who just happened to be musicians. Play, I heard, but that was one of the places that I, because of how fun it was, and I love playing there. I can't wait to go back. I really hope that I can get them on my schedule at least a couple more times before the year ends. But or I should say before it starts getting really cold outside.
Yeah, exactly. That's going to be and that's something that I've been talking with a lot of people. I really want to know how it's going to be handled when this cold weather starts coming, because I know you and me. I mean, we just talked about the cold. I ain't sitting out in the cold playing a 3-hour set.
I'm going to be honest with you. I've done it before, and I would do it again just because there are, the places that we play at, they have certain liquids that warm up the body that I would probably use
a little more often than usual.
I would just have fun with it, and just because I've done it before and I've had to play drums in the freezing cold.
Yeah.
And if I had to wear some gloves, I would wear gloves just because of Um, trying to think of the only way that I could think of to word this is that the hustle doesn't really ever stop.
Yes, I mean, if you have to do it, you just gotta,
I'm open for people to be like, I'm not playing these outside gigs, so I can play them because
and then you're just gonna soak all that stuff up because hey, if you don't do it, I'll do it.
yeah,
And like you said, there's gonna be somebody that's gonna want to do it, so it might as well be if not anybody, if not somebody else, it might be you.
a bunch of my friends out to the gigs just so they could, fucking laugh at me for in the cold while I'm playing, and we would have fun with it.
Right.
If I legitimately got like a cold because I was playing out in the cold, I would probably say, all right, I probably won't do that again. But I would do it as long as my body could keep up with it.
Exactly. Yeah. And the only test is just kind of doing it a couple times and see how it reacts.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if I it's also a part of the fact that I never thought that I would ever have more fun than playing drums. But playing acoustic solo stuff, I have more fun. I don't want to, definitely not more, but a different kind of fun that equates to playing drums. I mean, I love it a lot just because it's just me up there. So,
right.
much fun as I want to have. And even, if the crowd, and the more fun that I have, the more fun the crowd's going to have. And
exactly. Yeah.
at every single show I've ever played, it has never been not that. So once I kind of figured that out, I was like, I'm going to get up on stage and get in front of the mic and have the best time that I possibly can because of the fact that there really is no better way to do it. There's no.
Absolutely. So, how about we get another song in?
I'd love to.
So, we'll continue with the figure out this next song instead of telling what this song will be.
I come home the morning light, my mother says, when you gonna live your life right? Mother dear, we're not the fortunate ones, and girls, they wanna have fun. Whoa, girls just wanna have fun. Phone rings in the middle of the night. My father yells, what you gonna do with your life? Oh, Daddy, we're not the fortunate ones. So I'm gonna start that one over because we only got 2 people watching, and I think they'll be fine with it. Because it's gonna sound this time. They'll be fine with it.
I'll be fine.
If
it's that's why we call it live streaming. There's no rewinds. So
person who has a problem with it, I'll take a drink for the problem that they have with it.
There you go.
Anyway, again,
take 2.
I may have written this song, but I also may have not written it. There we go. It's better. I come home in the morning light. My mother says, when you gonna live your life right? Oh, Mother dear, we're not the fortunate ones, and girls, they wanna have fun. No, girls just wanna have fun. The phone rings in the middle of the night. My father yells, what you gonna do with your life? Daddy D, you know you're still number one, but girls, they wanna have fun. No, girls just wanna have fun. all they really want. Some boys take a beautiful girl and hide her away from the rest of the world. Oh, I wanna be the walk in the sun. Oh, girls, they wanna have fun. Yeah, oh, girls just wanna have fun. Oh, girls.
Woo.
Another one I've only played like twice, as you could tell.
There you go. Hey, sounds pretty good to me.
I'm trying to bang out the songs I've only played a few times right now. So far, we are 1 for 2.
Hey, it's still 50%.
50% ain't bad.
That's not bad at all. So, how long have you been, doing shows and outperforming professionally?
I've been playing drums professionally and doing shows professionally since I was about freshman year in high school. I remember the first time I got paid to play drums. Technically got paid to play drums. I won a talent show in middle school.
Very nice.
Gave me $50. So that was technically my first time getting paid to play drums. But I started booking a bunch of gigs for my cover band at the time, all throughout high school, starting in freshman year. So how old are people in freshman year? 16?
I was going to say 16. How did you guys get to play? Now, what type of gigs were you guys getting? Because obviously you wouldn't be able to play bars, right?
We were playing in bars, actually. We were playing.
Oh, okay.
And they were like all ages events at the Rusty Nail.
Oh, okay, the Rusty Nail in Ardmore.
Yeah, that place we played.
Yeah.
And it was good times and bad times. But it was still, we were getting, if you want to call that professional because we were getting paid.
Right.
But I would say about 3 years ago is when I stopped working jobs. I remember quitting. I used to work at Apria Healthcare, filling medical oxygen tanks. And believe it or not, I actually liked the job. Pretty good pay. It's pretty good pay, and it was a constant schedule, which from the retail that I've worked up until the point I worked at Apria, it was never constant. So it was the first schedule that I ever got that was constant. I liked that job, but I couldn't learn all of the 50 songs I had to learn in a week from a professional drumming gig, as well as work full time there. So I had to quit.
Right.
Apria Healthcare. I started playing with Joe Bachman and the Party. That was about 3-ish years ago. And ever since I quit Apria Healthcare, I have not done anything other than music. I mean, I would do Instacart every now and then, but that was, I pretty much just started doing that because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
And it's pretty fun. You know what I mean? You just,
I don't think I've heard of Instacart. And what is that?
You just, I always go to Wegmans. It's almost like Uber or DoorDash, but instead of ordering,
okay.
you just go food shopping for people.
Oh, okay. Hey, Hey, and I know there's a whole, like I said, you got like Uber, you got Uber Eats and DoorDash, and so hey, I mean, anything to get people making a buck, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I make a little over $100 a day, so I just do it probably like once a week. Just
And groceries aren't cheap, so
yeah, I make about I do it once a week. I make a little over $100, and I normally end up spending that on music equipment anyway. So
yeah, exactly. Do whatever need to feed the beast.
yeah, the beast. I try to be like pretty responsible with my musical purchases because obviously any one of us would go ham on buying musical equipment if we could, but obviously we can't. And honestly, if I had a bunch of money laying around, a Godin, which I heard that you said that you have,
Mm-hmm.
probably be one of my first purchases because I've been looking at Godins for a couple years now, and it's kind of one ever since like because I know that there's a MIDI input on most of those Godins.
Yeah, so this one in particular, this is the A6 Ultra model.
Woo!
It's the
Birdie.
it's the Coeg Burst HD or HG
Nice.
model, and so it has, if I can get the camera, so it has two inputs. This one here
Yep.
is an acoustic electric input, so you can toggle between the acoustic and the electric side. And then this one here, if you put in another input in here, it splits the signal between the acoustic and the electric. So then you can toggle between acoustic and electric. So then, you have your acoustic sound. And if you turn on the I wish I put on my distortion side, but I didn't want to get too loud tonight. But usually I'll have like a little softer distortion to kind of add with my electric side. But then, so I'll turn the acoustic off, just make it strictly electric. So, and you have bass and treble EQs for the electric side, bass, mids, and treble for acoustic. And I mean, I've been playing this one for 2 years, and I love it. It's definitely been one of my go-tos. And other than that, I mean, I've been playing some electric sets too. Sometimes I'll take out my Strat and play a full night of with my electric guitar. But I can do almost the same stuff with this as I can with the Strat. Now, obviously, a Strat's gonna not sound, a Godin's not gonna sound as good as a Strat, but I can get some pretty decent sounds out of this. And I've definitely been loving playing this and being very versatile with this, and it helps with my live looping type thing, because I can just be an acoustic person 1 minute and then just with a slash of a fader be like shredding on the electric side. So, and a lot of people kind of looking like, wait, are there two people up there? No, it's just one. It's just, well, if you technically say this is my second person down here. And I've just been looking at because they do make electric guitars. They just started making bass guitars too.
Really?
Yeah. So they just started putting out a bass guitar line. They have some hollow body guitars. So they do have a really good collection of guitars. So if anybody's looking, godinguitars.com if you're interested. And I know, speaking of, great companies, I know you have a endorsee or sponsor for your drums, right? And who is that?
Yeah, I actually have a couple of those. I have, I play XL drumsticks. They are, oh my God, I love them a lot. And not only that, but I actually get a pretty great, the price of the stick for the fact that I have my name on them is amazing. It's like less than a regular stick because their sticks are just best I ever had. Best for. Also, Aboria cymbals. I love that cymbal company, and I was surprised because of the fact that they're a Chinese company. How many amazing drummers in Philly play Arboria cymbals?
Yeah.
Didn't know until recently how many drummers play that company. I've been trying to get a little drum shed going together with all of the Arboria artists,
Hmm.
but
That'd be nice.
yeah, but because of the COVID thing, I'm
Yeah.
hesitant, and also, I get
In time.
time, it'll happen. Or we could just go to Philly and set up like 10 feet apart in a big circle in a park. My good friend Amir Bailey, he's an amazing drummer. He's been doing a lot of drum sheds, um, basically in parks in Philly, right near the zoo, doing that,
Uh-huh.
setting up in a circle, about 10. Everyone's 10 feet apart, and we all just we shed, which is a drum shed. For everybody who doesn't know, is basically you get in a room with a bunch of drummers. We all play basically the same beat, and then each one of us gets a set amount of bars or a set amount of time to just play. Not only just play out and play fills, but to play some of the stuff that we've been working on. Play some of the fills that we're not necessarily comfortable with,
Uh-huh.
and it just everybody has a great time. It's one of the best hangouts that any musician will ever have. But that's probably if this whole thing's not over by next year, summer or whenever the weather gets pretty nice
Yeah.
here, then that's probably what's going to end up happening. The other company that I'm endorsing, one of the other ones is Sledge Pad. I have a little thing on my fridge right here, but it's probably backwards for everybody. Sledge Pad is basically a drum dampening. So you're not putting a big old pillow in your bass drum.
Okay.
Not putting duct tape on your nice heads.
Right.
They have it's a custom dampening system for your drums that actually not only makes your drums to where you don't have tape on your drums or a wallet on your snare drum or
Mm-hmm.
a pillow in your kick drum. It actually looks good, but they work phenomenally. I love the company. I endorse Groove Juice, which is a cymbal cleaner. Who else? That might be everybody. That might be all of them.
That's awesome, man. It's good to have, small little endorsements that you can kind of promote good products that you use, and you can, share them out with everybody. So, especially if people that are, new to, playing drums or playing whatever type of instrument, you can, at least give them a recommendation saying, hey, these are products that I use and I really, stand by them. So, I mean, you can definitely give them a shout out, and, definitely give them a shot.
Yeah, I mean, and to add to that, it's also a community of people. Like I said,
Yeah.
recently found out all of the insanely talented drummers in Philly, in the Philly area, and obviously more than the Philly area. I have a really good friend, Ray, who lives in California that I've been talking to. He's been endorsing Arboria cymbals for a long time,
Mm.
uh, and he came from Sabian, which is
Wow.
widely known. A lot
Yeah.
of people, a lot of people are coming from these big cymbal companies, and they're going with Arboria because not only do they have amazing everything with their customer service, but everything from their customer service to their cymbal quality to all the products that they have. Arboria has drumsticks. They have practice pads. I know they have mute cymbals that I'm going to be getting soon, so I can rehearse in my apartment.
Yeah. Right.
Someone living next to me, under me, and above me, I could still hit, a set of cymbals just the way I would as if I was playing, Coachella, or as I would say,
Yeah. Right.
Homecella.
That's why I'm glad I have the interface that I bought, I upgraded. I did so many upgrades during this pandemic, and we were talking earlier about like putting money into a lot of music. I felt I put so much money into upgrading a lot of my gear, recording wise and set wise for my live shows, and it's definitely been beneficial. But being able to get a good interface and being able to practice at night just for the same reasons for you, the same, like you don't want to be banging on drums at like 10, 11 o'clock and disturbing your neighbors. At the same thing as I don't want to be cranking up my amp at like 10, 11 o'clock at night. I can just plug in my interface and just go right into my computer and just start wailing and practicing. The only thing I might not do is just sing a little bit, but you can mute a little bit more singing than you can, playing guitar or anything.
Exactly. And everything is an investment. And it goes, and I don't want to say, not, well, yeah, everything's an investment, but an investment that, any musician makes and ultimately any person makes in what they love to do, it goes beyond what they actually invest in. You know what I mean? If you invest in new gear, the pedal, you said you just bought something from Boss that's going to allow you to get some bass lines in your looping.
Yeah.
That's not just going to, that trickles down to, okay, now you sound better. Okay.
Exactly.
Sound better. Now I'm getting more gigs.
Yep.
Now, you know what I mean? I mean, it's
absolutely. And it kind of puts more creativity into your sets too. So, I mean, and it makes you, it keeps you inspired to continue to do more and be more creative. And then, like you said, it entails to getting more gigs because you're more creative. You get a little more talented, a little more better. It shows up in your gigs. More people see, okay, well, this guy's, pretty professional and he's sounding pretty good. So we want to see him more.
Absolutely. That's why I want to get live looping. You know what I mean? And that would be like an investment of time on my part, is to really work on live looping to the point that I'm comfortable with it, to where I can have no second guesses of like, I'm really going to mess up the timing of this, or it's really going to suck if I mess up the timing of this loop.
That's what I thought at first too. But once you kind of get a little bit of practice in and kind of, it definitely, for one, it definitely helps you with your timing. But usually, I mean, if you kind of just practice with it for like a day or two, it's usually not too bad. Like there's more technical things that I'm like, okay, I gotta really concentrate on this one. But then there's ones I'm like, I don't even have to look down and kind of just, I know when I have to turn it on, turn it off. But yeah, I mean, I've been really wanting to try to do something of like starting, like a live looping, beginner class or something of like, trying to teach people of like, how to, start a loop, or if they want to get into certain things. And so I've been thinking of certain ways to kind of just, be more creative and put more content out there. And knowing that I'm trying to promote being more of a live looper, it's something that I can, kind of run through my rig and kind of just know how I'm doing a lot of these things.
Yes, bro. That's
because there's more simple. A lot of people have more simplified setups. There's a lot more people have a lot more bigger pedals than I do, and they have like this pedal and that pedal and this and that. Like their whole feet, it's like a whole U shape of like pedals, and it's funny because I was never a pedal guy when I was a kid, and now I feel like I have every pedal in the world. I was like, I was always like, there's nothing better than just plugging your guitar into an amp and then just hearing your amp. And like, I'll never be one of those guys that gets like, oh, I got to get a distortion pedal, I got to get a reverb pedal, but now I'm like looking down at my pedal. I got like a amp simulator, I got the live looper, I got a guitar processor, and like, I'm just going against everything. But I think what everything I've invested in, it's definitely given me something to, it keeps me, having fun at my shows too, because I was getting really bored with kind of just, just doing the whole guitar and singing, which is not a bad thing. It's just, I guess from coming from a band perspective, you're so used to hearing so many things coming on, but that when I started getting into the fact of what live looping was and seeing more people do it, I'm like, yeah, that's what I need to be doing.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the fullness of it, you really can't beat it. And there's times where, I mean, pretty much every single time that I play solo acoustic, I'm missing at least just some type of beat.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, and there's also the fact that people can't, legally get up and dance.
Yeah, that is true right now too. But some people break the rules, but hey, if they're having a good time, I don't think bars are really going to stop them as long as they're,
Oh,
not going overboard.
stop them.
But
Ones
to certain points, yeah.
played at do stop them. They stop them, and if it gets to be about 3-4 times of reminding them, they will say, "You got to go," and like have no hesitance about it. Which, you know, on one side, it's like if somebody's dancing, if somebody is doing thing that I feel that I've been hired to make them do, and then they get kicked out for it, it's like, it's fucking heartbreaking.
Yeah. I definitely understand that. Yeah.
Really sucks to see someone get kicked out for dancing when that's literally you know what I mean? If you smoke a ton of weed, you're going to get high. If you play a bunch of great music, people are going to dance. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
Same concept.
If you're bringing the vibes, people dig the vibes. They're going to show you.
Exactly. Like
Yeah, man.
Eat a bunch of food, you're going to get full. You play a bunch of great music, you want to dance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like tribal almost, or not tribal, but instinct, I guess, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
to not be able to do that and to see people getting kicked out for it, it's not like I don't understand why, and it's not like I don't get the purpose, because I do. But
Yeah.
you can't help but get personally affected by that.
Yeah, it can be frustrating, especially because then it kills the vibe in the room because especially in your profession, you go off the crowd.
Yeah, man.
And when the crowd is not doing anything, it kind of makes you not play up to par. And it's hard, and especially sometimes it is for me. It's hard to get into a groove if the people aren't into it. And even if you just see a couple people singing, you still get into it a little bit more. And then especially for a cover band, you want people to get up and dance and kind of show that they're really digging everything. You don't want them to just sit down and kind of be like, yeah, cool, these guys are cool. You want them to kind of be, showing, hey, this is who we are. We want you guys to have fun. I mean, this is what we were booked to do. So I think you can kind of get away with it a little bit more being a solo artist, because a lot of solo artists are, basically like the jukebox in the room. Like they just sit back and you can allow people to just kind of just chill. And there's people that, pay attention. There's some people that don't, but they hear you in the background.
Yeah.
And then there's that small amount of people that might just get up for a song and, say, okay, this is cool, blah, blah, blah. Let me do that. But then, especially for a cover band, it's totally different. Like you want people to be moving. You want people to be engaging with you. So.
Exactly. And before this pandemic hit, and I was almost, I don't want to say forced, because like I said, I love doing it, but before I was thrown into having to really buckle down with these solo acoustic gigs, my Kano Nation would play at the Hard Rock Lobby Bar in Atlantic City, which is a place that has probably, I want to say, like at least 25 to 30 very comfortable chairs and couches. And
I've been there. It's a really nice place in there.
It's a really nice place in there, but it's not like everybody. You could have like I said, like 30 people in there who really are digging your stuff, but sometimes they don't really get up because there's a bunch of couches and tables and chairs for them to sit and watch you. And I never really thought about it until recently, but I was saying to Morgan Kano, who fronts the band, I said, I can't even imagine being in your position playing at the lobby bar, because it's kind of hard to get people up and sing during a pandemic when no one's really allowed to.
Right.
Well, I want to say it's hard to get people up and dancing at the lobby bar.
Mm-hmm.
And, now facing the same type of thing while I'm playing solo, it's like, it's draining sometimes to
Yeah.
actually play a gig to where nobody's really getting up and showing how much they're really getting into what you're playing, because sometimes you can't necessarily tell by the look on people's faces, or you don't really notice the people who are dancing and grooving along and paying attention. So you kind of just sometimes you kind of get into uh like you don't really I'm trying to explain, like
Hmm.
trying to put it into terms, because obviously the people watching might not be musicians, but or they
Right.
may not have been on stage at a time to where people really weren't grooving. But when you can't really tell if people are up and dancing or grooving, you kind of get into you go it sucks energy out of you in a way
Yeah. I was just gonna start saying, like, I definitely know where you're going. Like,
that
you don't know if they're liking you, you don't know if they're not, and then it kind of starts playing with your mind a little bit.
that sucks energy out of you, and I can't necessarily explain accurately why it does that. But
That happens to me almost every show. Usually in the beginning, where I'm like playing my first two, if people aren't really getting into it, I'm like, okay, am I really just failing at this right now, or just people kind of just waking up?
yeah, people gotta like feel you out. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like bringing a cat into uh, a new home in a way.
Yeah.
You gotta, unless you have one of those really late gigs to where people are already, had a couple drinks in them and they're pretty,
Yeah.
good time, and they're, you get up there and you play like, I don't know, fucking Shut Up and Dance, and they're like, yeah.
Yeah, I love this soda.
Or a crowd, you pull out like an Eagles song,
Oh yeah.
and they start really going ham. And
Uh-huh.
that's why I never make a set list until I get there. Even if I've played there more than once, I will never ever make a set list before I get there.
I when I started, I used to make set lists, but now I just go off my whole repertoire and just pick songs from there. I don't even really make a set list. I just go off the vibe of, like, okay, if I know these certain songs, if they're like faster and people are digging it, I keep playing songs that are like having an upbeat. But if people are kind of just like mellowing out, then I start just toning it. I'm like, all right, these songs that I know are mellow, I'll stick with them, and then maybe pick it up after a couple more. I rarely even make a set list. I just go off the list that I have and just, okay, I'll play this one and that one, and this, see how the vibe is. And if they continue to like it, I'll just keep playing songs in that type of motion. But if they start not really giving me, then I'll switch it up and be like, okay, maybe you want more mellow stuff, or, oh, okay, maybe you want the, to be more, in a upbeat mood, and that, then, then I just go off that.
Yeah, and that's a part of the job. If you're a musician, it can be detrimental to you ever playing there again if you don't kind of take that in mind. Not that it's like, and I feel like it's back to like the instinctual thing. I feel like it's kind of instinctual. Like, you don't really have to put a whole lot of brain power or a whole lot of energy into figuring out what will go over well and what won't. It's just the matter of taking it into consideration
Absolutely.
when you get to a gig, or especially if it's your first time playing there. Something like that is extremely important, as well as something like getting to know the names of the bartenders and getting the
Yeah.
names of the people there. And that goes along with introducing yourself
Yes.
once you get there.
Yep.
Um,
Definitely. It helps. It definitely helps.
yeah, not that you played plenty of gigs. I don't have to tell you, but
Right. Right. Yeah.
it's something that I always encounter, especially in Delco. And I know for a fact, you probably know a lot of people like this as well, but absolutely like fucking face melting talent, amazing talent, but they just don't have any other side of what it takes to take that talent to the next level.
Mm,
Take that talent and do anything with it.
right.
And there's so many people. I mean, obviously, I would not even I would never mention any names.
Mm-hmm.
There are so many amazing, talented people that I know
Yeah.
that could be easily working right now. Work,
Yeah.
meaning like being a full-time musician.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I've actually tried to help some of them. Um, and I halfway hope that the people who if the people that I am referring to do end up watching this, they will know exactly who they are. And I hope they do, because sometimes, it just takes, and that's with any type of art, it just takes something that wakes you up.
Uh-huh.
I mean, something that wakes you up to get you, to just like start living your life for what you were born to do.
Couldn't have said it better.
Um, and I feel like I got into this rant kind of halfway out of nowhere, but as soon as we started talking about reading the room and just anything that, has to do with being a professional musician, I started thinking about, uh, you know, things that also are along the lines of being a professional musician. Um, and then I started thinking about a lot of the amazing talent that's in Delco. People,
Yeah.
I mean, and it's kind of grouped in with Philly because everybody knows, uh, especially the touring people and the people who are working. Jay-Z's drummer. I was just listening I listened to the entirety of the 2-hour interview that Jay-Z slash Wiz Khalifa slash his own original music, Boots Green. I don't know if you ever heard of him. He's an amazing musician. He's a touring drummer with all those people. He toured for, like I said, Wiz Khalifa,
Hmm.
Snoop Dogg. He played for. P. Diddy. A lot of amazing musicians, and thankfully, I know quite a handful of amazing musicians from Philly who have been touring. But all those guys will tell you that there's amazing musicians that come from Philly, but there's also amazing musicians that will come from Delco, which is kind of grouped in with Philly. But you know, I feel like Delco kind of, hopefully in the future, will come up with its own reference from touring musicians. And if I ever become a touring musician, I will definitely be sure to mention the fucking Delco talent that is out
Yeah.
there, because it exists.
And I think, especially, I mean, we'll get to this last little segment here. That I think, especially with the Delco open mic, the Delco quarantine open mic, it definitely opened up so many talented people,
Yes.
like in Delco, and hopefully now that these people have been seen on the internet, hopefully once things get back to normal, what that normal will be, we don't know. And hopefully be back to what it once was. I don't think it'll be what it once was, but it'll be some type of normalcy of what we used to have. But hopefully there's people, if they want to be able to come and start playing gigs out, that they'll get their names out there to be able to start playing some gigs. And because like you said, I do think there is a lot of talent that goes missing, and it's not even just Delco, it's everywhere. That there's so many talented artists that get washed away every day that don't get to be seen. And it's just, some people just have that desire in them to be like, okay, I want to take this to the next level. And some people just don't either, they don't think about like, oh, maybe I can start doing this, or, and I know especially with times, some people are going through, emotional crisis, and, certain people are just not, in the right state of minds. But, I think with, people like you and me, professional or just doing it as a hobby or part-time, if we can help people in any way with our music, that is a success in both our eyes.
Absolutely. Helping people with music is like, I couldn't imagine. No one has, uh, came up to me yet, but I'm also, I have many years to go, hopefully. But no one has came up to me and said that, I've helped them with music, but that's also because I don't have any originals. But regardless, originals or covers, whatever, no one's come up to me yet. But I couldn't imagine the feeling if somebody did come up to me and say that I've helped them in some way with music. I mean, that's like,
I've had one or two people, and like you said, it kind of just takes your breath away to be like, you wrote a song and it kind of hits somebody in that special spot. You're like, wow, because when you write a song, you don't think it's going to hit anyone, or just you're writing it just the writing, and then somebody hears it, you're like, wow, that like really helped me through a time, or like, oh, I really dig this one. And so it is definitely, a good feeling to know that people appreciate your music, and not even if you don't write your own music, but they just appreciate what you do. Even being a drummer, I'm sure there's nights where you have people come out to you and say, dude, you killed it on that drum set tonight. Like,
single person that says that, I mean, I could see how it could get old, but for me, I enjoy it. I mean,
I do too. Because I there's a lot of people that take it for granted and like, yeah, thanks, man, I really appreciate it, then walk off. But for me, it's like, I try to take a few seconds or a few minutes to really try to talk to that person, try to build some type of a connection.
Absolutely. That is
so, it goes a long way for people.
Yo, bro, thank you so much for that compliment. What's your name, by the way? You know what I mean?
Exactly. It goes a long way.
It goes a very, very long way.
Because you don't know what, especially where they're coming from, you don't know what their day might have been. They probably just needed that.
Yeah.
And, they just need that extra, boost to get them through the day. So
I really like that point that you just made. I never really thought about, like, what their day might have been. Because every single person that's at your show at fucking 1:30 in the AM had a day.
Yeah.
Some type of day, whether good or bad, the many, many hours that led up to that 1:30 AM compliment that you got. So, or,
exactly.
In the morning compliment. And, thinking of it that way is actually, it makes me appreciate even more the compliments that I've gotten, and it makes me appreciate more those people who stayed and fucking partied with us,
Yeah, man, it's always a good time. But I think we are going to wrap this up. I think this has definitely been the longest episode of Table Talk, and the talks are always fun to have. I'm glad we had Anthony on tonight. Really appreciate you being here. Hopefully we can do this again and chat some more. And is there any? I know you have a show or two coming up. Do you want to plug anything before we get out of here?
Yes, sir. I have one show coming up. Hopefully there will be more, which I know there will be, especially at Blu-ray and AC. That's where you were talking about earlier. I meant to bring it up earlier. Awesome. Blu-ray and AC. But where I am playing on this Tuesday coming up, it's called The Hideout, and it's actually an arcade, a bar, and a grill. And it'd be my first time playing there. It's in Rehoboth Beach in Delaware, and I cannot wait to be there. I already made an event for it. It's on my Facebook, but I've got some people who are going to be coming out from other bands who are amazing. I know a friend of mine, Will, is going to be coming out. I'm trying to remember the name of his band so I can give him a shout out. The name of his band is Up All Night. Up All Night, yes. Will from Up All Night is going to be there. If anybody knows him, come out and hang out. But an arcade and a bar and a grill, like, I am insanely excited to play at this place.
That sounds like fun, man. Yeah, make sure you guys check out Anthony on Instagram. His Instagram handle is at Tony_the drummer. And make sure you check out his cover band, Kono Nation. And that's at kononation.com. Did I still mess that up?
Kano like Bono.
I was trying to think Kano. So Kono Nation,
yeah.
Everybody. They're doing big things. Hopefully in the the new year, we will be seeing more of them, and they'll be able to get their shows back, and as long as everybody else. And just want to say thank you guys for tuning in tonight to another edition of Table Talk. I am your host, Anthony Irvin, and I will see you guys all on the next one. Have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you later. Thank you, guys.
Have a great night. Thank you.